All right, I think third time's a charm. Just wanted to welcome everyone to today's hashtag Wealth Wednesday Facebook Live with my good friend, an amazing entrepreneur, Chris Marshall. And Chris and I actually worked together about 5-6 months ago. What's up, Doug? Joe Alonzo, what's going on? So I'm going to wait for Chris to pop on. And, you know, as everyone knows, this is something that I build my business, build my team via LinkedIn. It's an amazing platform that a lot of people still aren't using, but it's out there. And I always like interviewing people that I've worked with that have followed the steps of how this works, and sharing their success and sharing obviously what they've learned from this. So I'm going to wait for Chris to jump on and bring him on camera so we can obviously talk about this and you can hear his results, what he's achieved, and obviously all the amazing things that can be achieved when you obviously use this platform to its utmost potential. So I'm going to wait for him to pop on. And again, this is the beauty of technology. I'm just going to let him know that I am ready when he is, and when he pops on, we can start the interview. And again, this is a platform that everyone needs to, if you have any sort of online business, if you have any sort of business where it requires people for growth, then this is obviously a great platform for you to use that. So let me see if I can get him on here. Let's see. Chris. And this is why we love technology so much. And we just have to be patient. And I can wait, and I think he is here. There we go. I'm going to add him in now. And we are on.
Hey, Scott.
Chris, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for obviously taking some time out of your day to talk to me, but also talk to the other people that could be watching this. So, you know, I entitled this new series, Don't Take It From Me, Take It From the People That I have worked with, because obviously success leaves clues, and you reached out to me at a certain point because you had heard things about that I was doing with LinkedIn and how I was helping people.
Yep.
And obviously I can give you the recipe, but it's up to you to obviously do what's required to make things happen. So
yeah,
to make sure that everyone understands, you know, just a little bit about you, and obviously I'm just going to read a quick little bio for you guys on Chris. Chris was born in New York, but grew up in St. Louis, happily married with 5 kids ranging from 22 to 34, and he is also a grandfather. Lifelong entrepreneur, Chris has run his own computer programming business for over almost 3 decades now, and he's recently started a health and wellness global business. He's active in his BNI group, in leadership with his health and wellness company, and serves regularly in his church. So obviously you can hear that he gives back often. So,
yeah.
So Chris, what was the deciding factor when we had that conversation early in March where you decided to reach out to me to inquire about what I do and how I assist people, to then pulling the trigger and really diving into this?
Well, there were a few things. I had a friend who had worked with you, and she mentioned she had had great success. I was looking to get more leverage out of social media. I knew that LinkedIn was something I knew nothing about as far as using it to prospect and market and look for people in my health and wellness business. I was having some success with Facebook, but not what I thought I could. And so I thought, rather than continue to hit my head against that, let's learn some new skills. So we had a conversation, and it turns out you had a whole turnkey system for adding contacts in LinkedIn, participating in groups, writing articles, reaching out to new contacts, scheduling phone calls, or face-to-face meetings, because that's really what it's about. It's not about technology. It's about using technology to create personal relationships and personal contacts.
Right.
And it sounded like you had a whole system, and so I decided to jump in and see how that would work.
So as far as what I explained to you, and I was very candid and very open with you about the success that one could have if they followed this system.
Right.
Upon you and I starting, what were some of the immediate results that you saw just from the first initial session that we did?
Well, the first thing was my profile was unappealing, and you helped me immediately rework my entire profile to make it represent all the things that I can help people with. And that was an immediate impact. And it's interesting because I had inquiries just from changing that. I actually had a face-to-face meeting with somebody where we met for a cup of coffee because she'd found my new profile and had questions about it. So you helped me create a profile that generated interest and curiosity.
Now, as far as, obviously, I went over some numbers with you and basically shared with you the amount of contacts that we can have on Facebook, which obviously is 5,000. And
right.
I expressed to you that the possibility of having 30,000 connections on LinkedIn, that's what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of growth did you see in your network, and how quickly did it happen?
It happened pretty quickly and consistently using your methods of reaching out to people, of targeting groups of people who are good referral partners. I wish I had the exact numbers. I've probably added in a couple of months 600 new connections on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And then reached out to each of those people to see if they would be interested in exploring a business referral relationship where I could help them meet people they need to know. They could help me meet people I need to know, because everything should be a two-way street. It's not just about me.
Absolutely. So my question to you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you say it is to have something in place, turnkey, like you and I now do and what I've shown you, to create more leads than time? How important is that?
Well, time is critical for me with my entrepreneurial stuff, and there's always the question of, am I better off starting from scratch and inventing it by trial and error, or am I better off buying a system? So when I purchased a car, I let Toyota do all the research and development and engineering and create the engine and the brakes and all that stuff. I just bought the car because I think if I started with a pile of metal and rubber, it would take me a lot more time and effort than just to leverage what they had already done.
I love that. So obviously, learning this turnkey system of how to use LinkedIn. The other thing that you and I talked about was focusing on the quality over the quantity.
Right.
A lot of people, really get involved in the aspect of trying to enroll as many people as possible, then talking about obviously how this whole business works, instead of focusing on the quality person that's not only open,
right,
but has the monetary resources to dive into something like you and I do. And we talked about the average income that someone makes. And, the average income of someone on Facebook and Instagram is under $30,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And when I showed you that the average income of someone on LinkedIn is over $100,000 a year, your ears perked up. And basically, those are the types of people that we're looking for. So you've added a ton of contacts.
Yeah.
How quickly, so this is another question. So you were able to add connections very quickly. How quick did those contacts convert over to actual conversations? What was the time frame from you and I, me showing you what to do, how to connect with people, and then how to reach out? How quickly did you see people actually reaching back to you and say, hey, yes, let's talk?
I would say within a week of us starting to work together, I was reaching out to people and contacting them using the scripts that you gave me. And I had somebody in the local area. What's fascinating is LinkedIn is worldwide, but so many of these new connections just happen to be in the St. Louis area. Had a woman reach out to me on a Monday, and I said, hey, you want to grab some coffee and just talk about things? And we had coffee the next day because she happened to be in the area. So it was pretty immediate traction, not only of conversations, but of some of those converting into customers and customers referring other customers, which was really powerful.
And so here's the other big question. And this is what most people want to know. So obviously you were optimizing your profile.
Mm-hmm.
You learned how to add endless amounts of connections, up to 30,000, and also to set up appointments.
Right.
From the time that we started, how long did it take you to actually get your first enrollment?
I think it was within the first month. I spend a lot more time talking to people than tracking exact dates, but I spoke with a gentleman that lives, I don't know, an hour from me, an hour from St. Louis, who we had 2 conversations, and he enrolled himself, and he ended up enrolling his wife and another friend as well. So that was sort of a triple win, and he was one of my earliest contacts.
So you turned a consultant within the first 30 days of doing this.
Correct.
So now knowing what you know,
Mm-hmm.
so going from just reaching out to me off of a recommendation to me actually taking you through this, you learning how duplicatable what I do is, and you actually getting a return on your investment within the first 30 days, getting a new enrollment, that new enrollment actually becoming a consultant.
Yeah.
What has that done to fortify for you that you now have a key in your tool belt of how to never run out of people to talk to and how to talk to the right people? What does that mean for you now in your business?
Well, having more people to talk to, having more conversations is the key to any business like ours. But what I find too is that if I find somebody on LinkedIn who seems interested, people are a lot more willing to hop on the phone or sit down for a cup of coffee than people I might meet through Facebook. And so, like, the number of conversations I've had, I can't tell you how many coffee meetings I've had, how many phone calls I've had, people locally, I had a Zoom call with a physician in Florida based on the work that we've done together, and who we're going to be referring business back and forth. So some people become customers, but a larger number become allies, what I call people who love what I do, champion what I do, and are willing to refer what I do once they understand it. And so I'm always having conversations around, this may or may not be your thing, but would you keep me in mind? And people on LinkedIn seem to get that. It's like a subset of entrepreneurs as opposed to just, the general public playing on social media.
Absolutely. So what would you say? I mean, you've seen the results, you've benefited monetarily from this.
Yeah.
If somebody was to say to you that doesn't know who I am and doesn't really know how LinkedIn works, and say, hey, Chris, I'm thinking about using LinkedIn, one, is it worth it? But what's the biggest takeaway that you've had from learning what I do?
The biggest takeaway is a system that somebody can do. In fact, I have a virtual assistant who logs into my LinkedIn and corresponds with new connections for me, and then texts me when somebody's interested, and then we set up a conversation. So it's a system that's so duplicatable that, like, as busy as I am, she's just giving me the ones that raise their hand and say, yes, let's chat, let's email, let's do whatever. And then So I'm able to leverage that. But the quality of the people is completely different. These are entrepreneurs. These are people who are looking at business ideas and open to that, and very receptive. You know, people can be receptive and say, well, this is great. It's not for me, but I love what you're doing. I'll keep you in mind. And to me, that's a win.
That's amazing. So again, for the person that is, sitting on the fence, that is not really, they're frustrated because they're not having the amounts of conversations that they want to be having on social media. They're just using Instagram and Facebook to pump out attraction type posts, and you have a lot of cleansers coming on, but it's not building their business. It's not building
Right.
their team. What would you say to that person that really wants to take their game to the next level? How important it is to interject and include LinkedIn with their business building, obviously, formula?
I think it's huge because one of the things is a lot of the people I've spoken with and some of them who have enrolled with me, I consider influencers, other health and wellness professionals who have decided to make our products part of their personal lifestyle as a means to considering, am I going to use this to reach other people? And so when you want to talk to, in this business, you want to talk to, all kinds of people, but people of influence, people who already have a following, people who already have, health and wellness clients, so powerful.
So, you said enrollment. So you have had multiple enrollments from me showing you what to do.
Correct.
So for the person that is not using LinkedIn, Chris, and they are frustrated with where their business is not growing and the amount of conversations they are not having.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for that person that really wants to take this business seriously? How important would you say it is for them to use LinkedIn as a part of their social media?
I just think it's huge because of the kinds of people I've reached. Like I said, because I've reached influencers and because it's super easy to get people on the phone. Can I give you one more example?
Please.
I had a conversation based on my LinkedIn work, based on what you taught me, with a CEO of an international sports apparel company.
Wow.
Who makes a sports training product. The company's based in St. Louis. Had a 45-minute phenomenal conversation, which led to visiting him in his office, which led to all sorts of phenomenal contacts. These are just the kind of people that I didn't find when I was looking through Facebook. And, to be able to call this person and have confidence when I get on the phone and know what to say, because these are things you've taught as well, has been huge. It's not like you're fumbling for words. You feel like there's two equals, except he's a CEO of a huge company that's getting ready to do a big product rollout. And we're talking about how our products could complement his business and his personal situation.
Absolutely.
Because everybody you meet, influencer or otherwise, everybody eats.
They do. So before we head off and continue with our days, if there's something that you want to leave everybody with right now, again, what's the biggest takeaway that you have had since you and I have working together and running your business now? What's you hit the Crystal Executive Reset. You have a whole new list of people to talk to and leads coming in and enrollments coming in. What's the biggest takeaway from all of this that you've learned over the last 3+ months?
For me, the takeaway is now I have a skill set and a place to look for great people that I did not have before. And it was packaged and given to me with videos, with step-by-steps, so that I didn't have to go out and who knows how long you spent trial and error figuring all this out.
2 years.
But why, right, 2 years. So I could leverage a few bucks and save 2 years of time, because honestly, I don't want to wait 2 years to learn all the things that are in your course. I just wanted to flip the switch, start doing the work and implementing. And so the conference calls we had, the recorded videos that we had, the scripts that we had, the PDFs that we had, it was such a complete system that it was literally like turn the key and hit the gas and start to see results. And like, why would you not?
I love that. Well, I know we both have things to do today and people to connect with,
I've got,
obviously. But Chris, just so grateful for you and your friendship and your connection, but more so your openness to invest not in me, but to invest in yourself and your
right.
business, and to be coachable. And you can see that success does leave clues. You're getting results
Yeah.
because of all of this. And just really grateful for you. And I'm excited to see where you and your business are going to go.
Oh, for sure. Because now this is something I can do forever.
Exactly. So, Chris, I know you're parked. You go enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again. And for those that do not know Chris Marshall, please connect with him on Facebook. He has a great social media page, very active in 5Ks and 10Ks and half marathons. You know, he's the St. Louis version of Forrest Gump, so you definitely want to keep up with him and what he is doing. So, Chris, again, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see everybody next time. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Scott. Take care.
Bye-bye.